Hello everybody, I'm F1 Sasha and welcome. Behind me is the Alfa Romeo Giulia QV. And it's quite an impressive color, isn't it? Well, it's actually a wrap. And we decided to do the wrap because we saw the movie 6 Underground and there's this magnificent car chase which includes the Alfa Romeo QV, and well, it's just fabulous. The car looks amazing and gets a lot of head turning, but it's not everyone's desire. Underneath it is a silver, which is also stunning in this car. Why is it a QV? Well, you could be forgiven for thinking QV stands for quattro valvole, which in the old days was 4 valves per cylinder, but it's actually all about this badge. It stands for quadrifoglio verde, which is the 4-leaf clover green, and any sports model of Alfa Romeo comes with that. That is what QV is all about. Now let's take a look at this car, and we're going to start off at the back with the boot. It is a 4-door sedan, so you expect it to have a decent amount of luggage space in the boot, and as you can see, it is very decent. You can put golf clubs in, you can put a couple of bags in there as well. This area over here is where the battery lives. Okay, one minor little issue that you might have with this car: it doesn't have a spare wheel, because underneath here is a bunch of electronics which keeps this car going and giving it its 504 horsepower. Yes, you heard right, 504 horsepower. So that is the boot. Let's give it a close, and then let's look at the back of the car. When you're driving along and you arrive and see something like this, you know it means business. It's got the 4 tailpipes over there, which sound beautiful in all of the modes, I must say, but specifically in race. But the one outstanding part you do notice is this massive diffuser. It is a huge diffuser, as you can see the slats over here, and this of course is all for aerodynamics and airflow. So air flowing all over the car comes through to this diffuser to give you as much downforce as possible, especially when you're driving it at high velocity. Coming around the side, the tires at the rear are 285 30 19-inch wheels, and I must say this to me is the prettiest rim that you can find on a Giulia, but you could have a whole bunch that you can choose from as well. I'm not going to go through the numbers of what those numbers mean, but a person buying a car like this will understand what they are. Also, you can see it's got 2 calipers at the back. The red one is for the rear brakes, and the grey one over there is for the handbrake. It's a 4-door saloon, so you expect it to be relatively spacious. It's not the biggest car in the world. It's beautifully finished. It's got the Alcantara finish together with the leather and of course the stitching. You can spec it in any way that you want. It's also got these little areas over here where you can fit baby chairs as well. The one thing, it only has 2 sets of seat belts and not a third. It also, from the back, you can adjust your ventilation, and it also has a USB plug as well, so if you want to watch movies or charge your phone, you can do that. The one thing you do notice by sitting in the back are these magnificent carbon fiber seats in the front. Let's move over to the front and get inside. We'll start off with these seats. As you can see, just beautifully designed full carbon fiber Sparco seats. It's got airbags in the seats as well. It has electronics over here for up and down, but to move the car front and back, you actually have a manual lever underneath. Now, the one thing that denotes this car differently from any other Giulia is the red button. On a normal Giulia, it's a black button. On a red button, you know that it's a QV. Starting on the right hand side, you've got your lights over here. This is where you can adjust them. You keep it in auto, it's much easier. It's got the park distance control sensor. It's also got the stop start system, which I always keep off in any case. Over here, this is where you adjust your mirrors left and right, and also you can get them to come in if you're in a parking mode. You'll also notice it's got a magnificent Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds beautiful. Coming up to the instrumentation, pretty simple. It has got your speedo, it has got your rev counter. I'm just going to turn the ignition on, and move on to the integrated audio system over here. As you can see on the right hand side, I've got the sat nav, and then I've got a USB playing over there. The system to use is very, very simple and is used by using these buttons over here. You've got a menu button. Once you get into the menu, of course, then you can change, you know, radio, phone, navigation, whichever one you want, and you just push the button and it goes to that. It's also got an option button. You push the option button, that'll allow you to split the screen. It'll change your audio settings, set up Bluetooths, but it is a very, very easy system to use, I must say. It's very easy. It is going to be updated, and I think it does need to be updated when you consider the competition in this market. The other systems in other cars seem to be a lot better. The one thing I do love about it is that it is integrated into the dashboard. It doesn't have some big like pad or tablet just sticking out looking, you know, obtrusive. This is built into the system, and I really think that's good. It's got a dual climate control system, as one would expect, so you can adjust left and right as you want to do. Now the gear stick is very, very simple to use, and of course you've got a manual mode as well. Before we get into the different modes, let's get back to the steering wheel itself. Steering wheel also very, very simple to use. You've got your volume button. You can take your telephone calls. You can adjust the tracks or the radio stations that you're listening to. It has a cruise control system over here, and of course it's got the lane differentiation as well. The car will tell you whether or not you're moving into another lane, which is very, very safety conscious. And of course it also has a collision warning system, which we'll get to at the front of the car. The stalks are on the left and right hand side. This is for the windscreen wipers, and on the left hand side that is for the indicator. And then you've got these huge paddles over here, and those are to change your gears up and down. Right is for up, left is for down. So the different modes that you have what they call accelerated efficiency, and you can see that denotes as green on our screen. You have your normal conditions, which is blue. You get into dynamic, which is part of the DNA Alfa Romeo system, which gives you quite a lot of power. And if I turn the car on, you can hear it in dynamic, and if you turn it now into race mode, you can hear the tune that is different, and this is where you've got the full beans. When you are in race mode, just as you can see, traction control is off, everything is off. This is now a driver's car. Do not take this car lightly. It will bite you on the bum, I can promise you that. Let's turn the car off. Of course, you've got your cup holders over here and a beautiful shift system over there. Carbon fiber finish, very, very well done. The most cumbersome and I think the most awkward part of this car is the design of this armrest as well as storage area. I just think it is very peculiarly designed. It's got two USB ports in here. It's got an auxiliary port, and it's got a 12-volt DC port here as well. But if you wanted to put a dash cam on or have an espresso using that port, it means you have to thread it in here outside, which means that this isn't going to close properly. So I think it's one of the daftest designs I've seen in quite a while. Hopefully they're going to fix that up. Here is the key for the Alfa Romeo Giulia QV, and if ever the battery runs out, for example, and you have a bit of an issue and you need to start the car, well, you lift up this cumbersome area, you just put your key down inside, and there it'll automatically pick itself up, and then you'll be able to start the car, and then of course you can go and change the battery. Okay, let's get to the front of the Alfa Romeo QV. As you said, the tires in the front are 245s. These are 35s, and they're also 19-inch massive discs. And this car is the first car in the world to use the Continental integrated braking system. So believe you me, this car stops. It's incredible. This little area over here, this is for the light washers for the lights. The area over here, of course, that is for if you ever have to tow the car, and hopefully not. And then looking inside over here on the left and the right, those are the radiators, and of course they are for the intercoolers to cool down the turbo system. If you look along the side, you see this front splitter, and it's not there just for good looks, also fully carbon fiber. When this car is going at proper velocity, this splitter will move up and down depending on what the car determines is needed in order to give it the maximum downforce. Earlier on, I spoke about the integrated collision system. That is where it all works from, and it'll determine your distance to the car in front of you, and it'll warn you. Next to you, of course, is the park distance control sensor as well. If we take a little bit of a wider angle, there is the very famous Alfa Romeo grille, also in total carbon fiber. But this car is very much about what is here. 504 horsepower developed from 2.9 litre V6 twin turbo engine. It is a monster, and at full pace this car can be extremely vicious. It is developed in conjunction with Ferrari, and basically was developed from the Ferrari California T. They took off 2 cylinders and basically turned it into a 2.9 V6 twin turbo. It is quite magnificent. Full carbon fiber bonnet, as you can see, also just reducing on the weight. However, it is quite a heavy car at close to 1,700 kilograms.